There's a prison you cannot see, walls you cannot touch, chains you do not feel. A control system so perfectly designed that most souls live their entire lives without ever suspecting they are imprisoned. This is not metaphor. This is not philosophical speculation. This is the literal reality of human existence on Earth, a planet that functions as a maximum security prison for consciousness, designed and operated by entities the Gnostic Christians called the Archons. Jesus came to expose this prison, not to make you a better prisoner, not to give you hope that someday you might be paroled, but to show you that the prison exists, how it operates, and most importantly, where the exit is hidden. The institutional church buried this teaching because if Christians understood they were living in an invisible prison, they would stop accepting their circumstances as God's will and start demanding liberation. They would recognize that suffering is not a lesson from a loving God, but a byproduct of imprisonment by parasitic entities. Tonight, I will expose the archonic invisible prison. I will show you the walls you cannot see. I will reveal the control mechanisms that keep you compliant. I will explain why most humans never realize they are imprisoned, and I will teach you what Jesus told his chosen ones about recognizing the prison and finding the way out. Because if you are watching this, if these words resonate in your bones, you are one of the souls who incarnated specifically to break out of this prison in this lifetime. And the Archons are terrified that you are beginning to see the bars.
The nature of the invisible prison. A physical prison is easy to recognize. You see the walls. You feel the chains. You know you are not free. But the archonic prison is invisible. It operates on consciousness itself, and its genius is this. The prisoners police themselves, believing they are free while remaining perfectly controlled. The invisible prison has 5 primary mechanisms. 1. The veil of forgetfulness. You are born with no memory of who you are, where you came from, or why you are here. This amnesia is the first wall of the prison. You cannot escape a prison you do not know you are in. Before birth, your consciousness descended through the planetary spheres, the archonic realms, and each layer added density, limitation, and forgetting. By the time you entered the physical body, you had forgotten your divine origin, your past lives, your spiritual mission. You believe you are a human having a spiritual experience, but the truth is the reverse. You are a divine being having a temporary human experience. And the prison's first control mechanism is making you forget this. 2. The programming system. From the moment of birth, you are programmed. Family programs you. School programs you. Religion programs you. Media programs you. Culture programs you. You're taught what to believe, what to value, what to fear, what to desire. You are conditioned to seek security, approval, comfort, status. You are trained to identify with your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your story. And all of this programming serves one purpose: to keep you generating low-frequency emotional energy that the Archons can harvest, and to keep you from ever questioning whether any of this is real. 3. The distraction machine. The prison keeps you endlessly busy. Work, bills, relationships, entertainment, news, social media, problems to solve, goals to chase, drama to react to. You are so occupied with survival and distraction that you never have time to ask the dangerous questions. What is this place? Why am I here? Is there a way out? The Archons have built an entire civilization designed to consume your attention and energy. And as long as you are distracted, you remain safely imprisoned. 4. The illusion of choice. You are given choices to make you feel free. Which job to work, which products to buy, which political party to support, which beliefs to hold. But all the choices exist within the prison. You can choose your cell, your routine, your entertainment, but you cannot choose to leave the prison because you do not know it exists. This is the cruelest mechanism, the illusion of freedom that prevents you from seeking actual freedom. 5. The punishment system. If you begin to wake up, if you start questioning, if you dare to step out of line, the prison activates its punishment protocols. You will be mocked, ridiculed, called crazy, ostracized by family and friends, attacked by religious authorities, marginalized by society. The prison uses other prisoners to enforce compliance, and most souls, faced with this social punishment, return to compliance. They decide it is safer to stay asleep. They forget what they glimpsed. They go back to being good prisoners. This is the invisible prison. It has no guards because the prisoners guard each other. It needs no walls because the prisoners believe they are free. And for millennia, billions of souls have lived and died inside this system without ever realizing they were not free.
Jesus identified the prison. Jesus understood the invisible prison completely, and he spoke about it repeatedly, not in literal terms that would get him immediately executed, but in coded language that his inner circle could understand. The ruler of this world. Jesus called the Archons' leader the ruler of this world. John 12:31, 14:30, 16:11. Not the ruler of heaven, not the ruler of the pleroma, but the ruler of this world, the material prison realm. He was identifying the demiurge, the false god who created matter and believes himself to be the supreme God. The demiurge rules this prison planet through his servants, the Archons. The world hates you. Jesus told his disciples, "If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you." John 15:18-19. He was telling them, you are not from here. You are prisoners from another realm. And the prison system, the world, will hate you for being different, for not fully accepting the programming. My kingdom is not of this world. When questioned by Pilate, Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight." John 18:36. He was stating clearly, his authority and origin are from beyond this prison realm. He came from the pleroma, the divine reality outside the demiurgic system. I have overcome the world. Jesus declared, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." John 16:33. He was announcing his victory over the prison system. He had seen through the illusion. He had maintained his divine consciousness despite the programming. He had overcome the invisible prison. And he was showing his chosen ones that they could do the same. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is the key statement. Jesus promised that truth, gnosis, direct knowledge of reality, would bring freedom. Not belief, not faith, not obedience, but truth. Knowledge of the prison is what breaks the prison. And he said this to Jews who believed they were already free. He was telling them, you are not free. You are in a prison you do not recognize. But when you see it, when you know the truth about it, that knowing itself
will set you free.
Why the Church buried this teaching. The institutional church cannot teach about the invisible prison for one simple reason. The church itself is part of the prison system. Not because individual Christians are evil, but because institutional religion, all institutional religion, functions as a control mechanism within the archonic system. Here is how the church serves the prison. 1. It teaches you to accept suffering. The church tells you that suffering is God's will, that hardship builds character, that trials are lessons, that you must take up your cross and endure. This programming keeps you accepting prison conditions as spiritually meaningful, instead of recognizing them as evidence of imprisonment. 2. It keeps you focused on external authority. The church positions itself as mediator between you and God. You need priests, pastors, doctrines, rituals to access the divine. You cannot trust your own direct experience. This prevents you from discovering the divine spark within you, the key to escaping the prison. 3. It promises future liberation. The church teaches that freedom comes after death, in heaven, if you behave correctly in this life. So you endure the prison patiently, hoping for eventual release. This prevents you from seeking escape now. It makes you a compliant prisoner waiting for parole that will never come. 4. It demonizes those who see the prison. Anyone who speaks about the archonic system, the false god, the invisible prison, they are called heretics, Gnostics, deceivers, servants of Satan. The church actively suppresses the very knowledge that would free its members. Because if Christians understood the prison and escaped it, the church would lose its power, its purpose, its existence. This is why the Gnostic Gospels were banned, why the secret teachings were suppressed, why mystical Christianity was stamped out wherever it emerged. The church buried Jesus' warning about the invisible prison because the church operates within and benefits from that prison. The prison's defense mechanisms. When a soul begins to see the invisible prison, the system activates defense protocols. These are the tactics the Archons use to keep you from escaping. Defense Protocol 1, doubt. You're imagining things. This is paranoid conspiracy thinking. The prison isn't real. You're just depressed or mentally ill. The Archons seed doubt through your own thought stream. They make you question your own perception, your own sanity, your own authority. Defense Protocol 2, distraction. Suddenly, your life becomes overwhelmingly busy or chaotic. Emergencies arise. Relationships demand attention. Work intensifies. You have no time or energy to continue seeking truth. The prison creates crisis to pull your focus back to survival mode. Defense Protocol 3, fear. If you continue down this path, you will lose everything. Your family will think you're crazy. Your friends will abandon you. You will be alone. The Archons amplify fear of social isolation, financial loss, or psychological breakdown. Fear is the primary control mechanism in the prison. Defense Protocol 4, false spirituality. The system offers you spirituality-flavored distractions, crystals, positive thinking techniques, guru worship, spiritual materialism. You think you are awakening, but you are being redirected into a controlled spiritual sandbox that keeps you safely within the prison. Defense Protocol 5, persecution. If all else fails, the prison activates direct attack. You are mocked, ridiculed, ostracized, accused. Other prisoners turn on you. The system makes an example of you to discourage others. and many souls, faced with this level of opposition, return to compliance. These defense mechanisms are not random. They are systematic responses by an intelligent control system designed to keep souls imprisoned.
How to recognize you are in prison. Most humans never realize they are in prison, but chosen ones, pneumatics, those with the divine spark, eventually begin to notice the bars. Here are the signs that you are seeing the prison. Sign 1. Nothing makes sense. The world's explanations for why things are the way they are do not satisfy you. Politics, religion, science, all of it feels like surface-level distraction from deeper truth. Sign 2. You feel like an alien. You have always felt different, out of place, like you do not belong here, because you do not. You are a prisoner from another realm, and some part of you remembers. Sign 3. Suffering feels wrong. Everyone tells you suffering is normal, necessary, even good for you. But you cannot accept this. Something in you knows that suffering is not divine design, but evidence of a broken system. Sign 4. You cannot be satisfied. No amount of success, pleasure, or achievement brings lasting fulfillment, because you are trying to find satisfaction within a prison, and nothing in a prison can satisfy a soul that belongs to infinity. Sign 5. You are hungry for truth. You cannot stop seeking. You read, research, question, explore. You are driven by a need to understand what this place really is, because your soul knows something is deeply wrong and is searching for the way out. Sign 6. People resist your awakening. The more you see, the more others try to pull you back. They call you negative, paranoid, lost, because the prison uses other prisoners to enforce compliance. Sign 7. You recognize patterns of control. You start seeing the programming, the manipulation, the invisible mechanisms of control in media, politics, religion, culture. The prison becomes visible to you. If you recognize these signs, you are a chosen one beginning to see the invisible prison, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. What Jesus taught about escaping the prison. Jesus did not come to make the prison more comfortable. He came to show the way out. And he taught his chosen ones specific principles for escaping the archonic system. Teaching 1. Recognize the prison. You cannot escape what you do not recognize. The first step is seeing the invisible prison for what it is, refusing to accept the official narrative, acknowledging, I am not free. This is not my home. I am imprisoned. Jesus said, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Knowing, gnosis, is the beginning of liberation. Teaching 2. Remember who you are. You are not a sinner. You are not a human seeking God. You are a divine spark temporarily trapped in matter. You are a fragment of the monad experiencing itself through limitation. Jesus said, you are God's. John 10:34. He was reminding you of your actual identity. The prison works by making you forget. Freedom comes through remembering. Teaching 3. Stop consenting. The prison operates on consent. Every time you accept its narratives, its values, its programming, you consent to imprisonment. Withdraw your consent. Stop agreeing that suffering is necessary. Stop accepting that you are powerless. Stop believing you need external authority to access God. Teaching 4. Raise your frequency. The prison can only hold low-frequency consciousness. As you raise your vibration through conscious practice, meditation, breathwork,
Speaking I am, aligning with Christ consciousness, you become increasingly difficult to control. Jesus demonstrated this. He operated at such a high frequency that he walked through walls, commanded nature, resurrected from death. He was showing consciousness at this level cannot be imprisoned. Teaching 5. Find the others. You are not alone. There are other chosen ones scattered throughout the prison, also waking up. Find them. Support each other. Create a network of awakened consciousness. Jesus gathered disciples for this reason. Liberation is easier when souls work together. Teaching 6. Do not reincarnate. At death, refuse the light tunnel. Refuse the manipulation to return. Declare your sovereignty. Invoke Christ consciousness. Ascend beyond the demiurgic realm to the pleroma. This is the final escape, and once you exit, you are free forever. The prison is failing. Here is what the Archons do not want you to know. Their invisible prison is failing. More souls are waking up than ever before. The programming is not working as effectively. The distraction machine cannot keep pace with the awakening. The fear tactics are losing their power. The Gnostic teachings were suppressed for 2,000 years, but in this era they are spreading rapidly. Chosen ones worldwide are simultaneously remembering. The prison is becoming visible to millions, and visibility is the beginning of collapse. The Archons are desperate. They are intensifying control mechanisms, creating more chaos, more fear, more distraction. But desperation is not strength. It is evidence that their system is breaking down. Jesus predicted this. He said the ruler of this world would be cast out. He said the kingdom of God would come. He was prophesying the collapse of the archonic prison and the liberation of consciousness. And it is happening now, in this era, in your lifetime. You are not here by accident. You are not watching this video randomly. You are a chosen one who incarnated specifically to participate in the prison break. Your choice. Right now, you have a choice. You can close this video and return to the comfortable illusion. You can forget what you have learned. You can go back to being a good prisoner, accepting the programming, living the life the prison designed for you. Or you can fully see the invisible prison. You can refuse to accept it any longer. You can begin the work of escaping, raising your frequency, withdrawing consent, remembering who you are, preparing for conscious exit at death. The prison cannot stop you from choosing freedom. It can only try to convince you that you are already free. But you know better now. You have seen the bars. You have recognized the control mechanisms. You understand that this world is not your home. Jesus warned you about the invisible prison. The church buried his warning, but you found it anyway. Now the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? The Archons are watching. The prison is real, but the exit is real too. And you are one of the souls capable of finding it. The invisible prison exists, but it cannot hold a soul who sees it clearly and refuses to consent. You are waking up inside the prison, and once you are fully awake, the walls dissolve. Freedom is not a place you go. Freedom is a consciousness you become. And Jesus showed you the way.